I am delighted to be joined by two presenters today doing a joint presentation, Edward Gray and Dr. Magdalena Bak-Maier. You are doing a joint presentation at the 2024 NLP Conference, and your topic is My Client, Me and My Process, Working with Emergence. So that sounds a very intriguing topic. So please do start by telling us a little bit more about yourselves and your presentation topic.
Magdalena, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I'm Magdalena. I work as a coach and a teacher, helping people with empowerment, leadership and healing. And I am absolutely delighted that Ed said yes to this joint venture. I'll let him tell more about that in a moment. And so, yeah, just really excited to be here. Ed, over to you.
So thanks. I've been working with NLP for many years. I'm an NLP trainer. My business is predominantly leadership coaching, but I also have a thriving psychotherapy practice as well alongside that. And when Magdalena and I met at the NLP conference, don't quite know how many years ago, we instantly connected. I think we had a sort of innovative, creative and rebellious streak to our approach to applications of NLP and applications of coaching indeed. So we got talking on and off over the years, and we then, I don't know if it was your original idea, Magdalena, or mine, but I think it was probably yours, that we did something together at the conference, and so here we are. It's very exciting.
Absolutely. And do explain, one or both of you, do explain a little bit more about what your topic actually involves.
So, okay, so the original idea, I think, there are a number of roots to this. One of them was the understanding that I think we are all getting, that the current world is increasingly complex, increasingly unpredictable. And certainly our own clients are experiencing some real challenges as a result of that increasing complexity and uncertainty. And it occurred to us that, of course, as practitioners in the coaching or therapy space, as NLPers, we must also be increasingly affected by or influenced by this dynamic out there. So it seemed to us that it's really important that, as well as doing our best for our clients, we needed to do our best for ourselves, for our clients and our businesses. And that got us to thinking about how important it was, the notion of self-care and self-reflection. So the workshop really is all about the relationship between our self-care practice, our self-reflection practice, and how that impacts on our work with our clients. And in the current climate, we're assuming, actually, we're making some assumptions, but I also think we're experiencing, not just for ourselves, but our clients and even our colleagues, that sometimes the notion of really looking after ourselves and doing deep self-reflection often just slides off the table when there is so much else going on that we need to attend to. And clients are presenting ever more complex issues, it seems to me. So we wanted to really get to grips with how we could present perhaps a very new way of looking at self-reflection. We both have experience of supervising and being supervised and having coaching by other coaches, and we do, certainly my experience is there are quite a few colleagues that don't do a lot of that, and less so given the current climate. So we wanted to look at how we can approach self-care and self-reflection in that context.
Wonderful, thank you. So what practical learnings will delegates take away from your session?
Well,
Can I jump in on that one? In many ways, I think what really does unite Ed and me is this love for mastery of practice. And the more we become masterful, the more we question our own skill sets and think about it. And that invites that reflection and that emergence of how we meet ourselves in that space. So we are super delighted to have this double, slot. So enough time to really dive deep and do a lot of work. And I think the things we are wanting to share with our colleagues is certainly a structure and a process for this kind of reflection that is practical enough to be able to fit into what Edward was saying, often really busy practice, and a reflection process that, is both inward reflection on the practice and also on the business side of things. So really kind of looking at the whole piece in all. And some tools around that, of course, that we'll be very happy to share, but also just the process itself, which we think is really key in terms of our reflections together and our discussions over the last months and ever since we really met have been about the confidence of the practitioner. And we do think there's quite a bit of sometimes masking or doubting, sometimes too much emphasis on, the mechanics of things rather than the process of being with a client, which ever more in this kind of emergent space of not knowing, and this way of needing to be a leader in our own practice, but also for our clients, like our clients needing that. That actually creating that sort of experiential space is going to inspire our colleagues and give us ever more material to really probe this process, because we're kind of excited by it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And self-reflection and self-care, I think, as you say, is so important nowadays and sadly neglected. So what if anything can delegates do before your session to get a deeper understanding or a deeper experience during your session?
Well, we did really consider this quite carefully before we spoke, and the short answer is not very much, really, except perhaps one thing, to reflect on your own self-reflection, to reflect on your own practice. Picking up on what Magdalena was saying just now, I mean, it is common, I think, that when we do reflect on our practices as practitioners, we do get sometimes pulled into, to use Magdalena's word, the mechanics, the structures of some of the tools, some of the processes, and less, I guess, less focus on ourselves as how we show up and how we then connect with our clients, the relationship space. So we do want to make sure that we present something here which is not just about the mechanics of the tools, but more profoundly about how we are showing up, how we are doing ourselves in that space. So some sort of reflection on our own practice would be nice. Bringing perhaps some questions to us about how reflective practice might look in the current climate, and we love to be challenged. So feel free to bring some really challenging questions around self-reflection and around mastery of practice, which is a great thing to sort of always aim for, always to aspire to. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So what inspired you to want to present at the conference?
Well, for my part, I've presented once before and it was really good fun. So fun is a really important part, and it's been a really important part of our relationship with Magdalena. We just have a real giggle about but we also have this connection where we challenge each other to really understand what we're talking about, which is very helpful sometimes. So fun for sure, and we just want. For my part, I'd like to share some of the stuff that has been emergent and continues to be emergent in the relationship I have with Magdalena and my own practice. So it feels to me like I just want to contribute,
Thank you.
Yes. And for me, ever since coming back, so I think when I came back to the NLP community, having, trained as an NLP practitioner, I met Edward at that conference, and it was my first sort of attendance. And after that, the following year, I offered something to the community. And I think the last year where we were both participants. And I remember Robert Dilt's ending and sort of that idea about building community and collaborating and things. And I really took this to sort of go, how can I collaborate with someone? And then, it made me think about Ed, and when I said, hey, listen, how about, since we riff about this all the time anyways, why don't we offer something? And actually, if anything, in terms of preparation, if people want to get in touch with us ahead of time and really let us know their thoughts about this also, I think there is an element of this session that I think will be very riffing like jazz space. We're not coming to it having all the answers by any means, but we are really interested in this topic. So we do think it'll be a rich session.
Wonderful. So, of course, as soon as the conference app opens, the conference platform opens, you can pop that onto the chat and get that interaction straight away. So there's a brilliant opportunity there to gather people's thoughts ahead of time. So that's wonderful. So thank you so much, Ed and Magdalena, for spending time with me today and exploring that topic, and also sharing your lovely warm fire, Ed. So just to remind people, Ed and Magdalena are presenting at the virtual element of the NLP conference on Saturday the 10th of February at 1400 hours, that's GMT, because it will still be winter time. We may still be enjoying your fire, Ed. So thank you both so much for joining me today, and very much looking forward to learning more about your presentation and immersing myself in it come February. Thank you.
Oh, can I do one more plug for your lovely magazine? Because since we know we have been accepted to make some offerings to that magazine, yes, for those people who are subscribers, great. For those who are not subscribers, might be a really great reason to sign up to your magazine and be on our journey with us on sort of a 3-part journey about reflection, self-care, and emergence.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for reminding people about that as well, and thank you for reminding me about that. So thank you. And as I said, looking forward to reading about it in the magazine and seeing you present in February.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.